Hello there, Whipper here, and today I'm going to be showing you a mod called the Bionicle Mod, which adds new blocks, weapons, and armour into Minecraft. Well, I suppose the armour is more like a mask, but they're pretty similar things anyway, so well. Some of you may know what this mod is actually based off, and recognise some of the stuff in it, but I was never into Bionicles, so I'm not really sure what this mod is about, so if I don't recognise any of the item names or any references that this mod may have in it, then I'm sorry, but I just don't have a clue. But by the way guys, if we can shoot for 600 likes on this mod showcase, that would be amazing. I'm sure we can reach that. So, the first thing I'm going to show you that this mod adds are the new blocks, which you can use to build some epic looking structures, and I love the textures of some of these blocks that could be very useful if you're going for some kind of brown textured building, or something really fluorescent green. So if you want to make a tree house, I can imagine those would be very useful to you. So what I'm going to do with these blocks is I'm just going to go through them one by one, showing you what they're called, but sadly I'm not going to be able to show you the crafting recipes because look how many different blocks there are. If I showed you the crafting recipes for each one of these, I'll be here all day. I recommend if you do want to see the crafting recipes, you go to the mod topic, there's a whole list of crafting recipes there, or you can download not enough items, and then just press R on an item to see the crafting recipe, which is quite cool. So yeah, these are the new kinds of blocks. So first up we have the Konoka stone, and just a pre-warning here, all of these blocks have insanely weird names. So first up we have the Konoka stone, and we've got two different varieties of that. Then we've got the Proto stone, and again two different varieties of that. And then we've got Takoro stone. It seems like two letters followed by Koro is the name of all these stone blocks. But yeah, we've got two more varieties of that, and a brick variety, which again is called Takoro bricks. And then we've got some large infested bricks, followed by some infected bricks. So these are the large version of that. And then we've got some Kokoro ice bricks, and then Kokoro ice block. And then we've got something that looks like a melon to me. Look at this. It's very fluorescent green, and it looks a little bit like a melon. Maybe this one more so. Or is that a little bit more like bamboo? Like that bamboo over there. But yeah, so we've got some Gakoro blocks. Gah! That's a good looking block. Maybe that's what they expect you to say when you look at this thing. So that's why it's called a Gakoro block. And then we've got a normal one. I don't know if that's a normal one, but it's a different variety. And then we've got this third one. And then over here we have a really scary looking block, which is the Mccune stone. Look at this thing. Wow, it's like obsidian with a face. That's a really scary face. Wow, that's even worse than pumpkins. Imagine having like a really dimly lit corridor with that at the end, lit up slightly by a redstone torch. That would look so freaky. Very good for Halloween or something like that. So yeah, that's the first row of blocks. So, next up we have this block called Energized Proto Dermis seal, and probably not the seals you find in oceans. That's probably not this kind of seal, unless it's like the seal blubber or something, but nah, this is a very transparent block, kind of transparent actually, it's not really that transparent, but it's blue and looks awesome. Sadly you can't bounce on it. Instantly when I see a block that's like opaque like this, I think I can bounce on it, but no, you can't. That's a bit of a shame, but it still looks quite cool, and I can imagine it could be quite useful if you wanted to simulate some kind of blue liquid, surrounded by glass in a tube or something, then this would be very useful for that. It could look quite scientific in some kind of laboratory build or something. So yeah, that's that kind of block. And then next up we have a Matanui stone. Probably saying that wrong, but that's what I think it said like. And it's got a weird creepy face on the front as well. But now we're going to go on to some more interesting blocks. So here we've got three different varieties of ore, which randomly spawn in your world, and we're just going to start off with the Proto-Dermis deposit. And this, when you mine, it drops raw Proto-Dermis bits, and if you put 4 of these together in a crafting grid, you get yourself some raw Proto-Dermis. And then you can whack this in a furnace to get some Proto-Dermis ingots, and combine 2 of them together to get a Proto-Dermis rod. Or you can do something else and surround 1 Proto-Dermis ingot with 4 iron to get some Proto-Steel ingots. And again, you can craft that into a rod using just 2 of them. And these are used in crafting recipes later on. But then next up, we've got this heatstone ore. And when you mine this, you get some heatstone, like little ball things. And again, these are used in crafting recipes later on. I don't think you can place them down, can you? No, they don't do anything. But next up, we've got something that's a little bit different. And this is the lightstone ore. And this drops some lightstone shards. I believe these are lightstone shards or something like that. They look like a shard. But if you hold these in your hand and then place them down on the ground, in a similar fashion to torches, they emit light. And they kind of look like torches, but they've got no flames on top. It's just a like fluorescent kind of ore. So you can place this down and it replaces a torch. So you can use it instead of torches, and it requires no sticks to use or craft. So yeah, those are the lightstone shards, and they're used in crafting recipes later on. like these lights over here. So yeah, we've got 3 new kinds of lights that this mod also adds into the game. We've got first up the Onu Koro Lightstone Lamp, and I quite like that. That'd be very nice to light up a street or something. And then next up we've got a Nuva Cube. This kind of reminds me of Tron. If you've ever seen Tron, it looks like the trail behind one of those Tron bikes. That's pretty much what this texture reminds me of, but it looks quite cool. And yet again, that's called a Nuva Cube. And then finally we've got a Takoro Lava Light. Ooh, this is very creepy looking. If you want like an evil lair, you could use this to light the walls of it, and it looks quite neat as well. So yeah, those are all the blocks that this mod adds into the game. So now let's go on to something a little bit more interesting, which of course is the disc launcher weapon. This is crafted using 4 Proto Dermis ingots, and then you can actually use this along with the ammo of Konokas, which are little disc things with different power levels and different abilities. And these, by the way, if you're wondering how you can craft them, I'll show you later on, and you can craft them using one of these, I think they're mask forges, and I'll show you how you can craft one of those and how you can use it later on. But for now I'm just going to show you all of the different crazy things you can do with these custom Konoka discs. And for the test subjects for this, I'm going to spawn down some cows, because of course we're never going to harm some sheep. So sheep, you're safe, you're friendly creatures, and I'm not going to do anything to harm you. But cows, we're going to like do weird stuff to you. So yeah, here we go. So the first kind of disc is the Konoka of Reconstitution at random. And this sounds like a really scientific technical name, but pretty much what it does is it transforms a mob into any other random entity in the game. So if I fire it at this cow, it turned into a cow. Well, that was brilliant. That was perfect. Let's try that again. Okay, now we've got a zombie, which is just going to burn up. But let's try that again. We'll try it on that cow. Whoa, we've got a giant. I was not expecting that. It can change the mob into any entity at all. And now we've got an iron golem. I want to get it to turn it into like a TNT block or something. Okay, there we go. We've got it. And now the iron golem's taking on the giant. Who's going to win? Okay, now they're just having like a staring contest. This is a bit peculiar. Anyway, that's besides the point. Let's get rid of this iron golem. Okay, right, now we've got a... Oh, that doesn't really help. Change from one protective mob into another one. Let's just try that again. This is so much fun to use. Now we've got a witch. And now we've got a magma cube. And a... sheep. Yes, that's what we want. We want to turn all mobs in the game into sheep. That's much better. But yeah, so that's what the Konoka of Reconstitution does. I love that one. That's awesome. You can just turn any mob into any other mob in the game. But next up we have a Konoka of Freezing. So if we use this on this cow over here, you can see there in the top left, the damage indicator display is showing that I've given this cow a slowness effect. Hello there, cow. You're feeling quite slow today, aren't you? So that's what that one does. And then next up we've got a Konoka of Weakness. So what can we test this one out on? Let's just spawn another cow and fire this at the cow, and you can see it's got the weakness effect applied to it. So this would be very useful against any mob that has a sword or something, or maybe it just affects any mob that attacks you. But then next up we've got a Konoka of Remove Poison, and this one I'm pretty sure it doesn't really have any useful purpose. I could try it on a cave spider. Maybe it turns a cave spider into a normal spider. Not really sure about this, but we can try it. There we go. Nope, hasn't done anything. I was hoping that because cave spiders are, you know, poisonous, that this remove poison thing would remove the poison part of the spider and turn it into a normal spider, but nope, didn't work like that. But presuming you can use it on like your friend on a multiplayer server if they're poisoned, and it gets rid of that poison effect off them, or something like that. But we have got 2 other discs here. We've got a Konoka of Enlarging and a Konoka of Shrinking, but every time I use this, the game crashes. I was hoping it'd like turn a small zombie into a giant zombie or something, or maybe just make sheep giant sheep, but sadly they don't work, or a tiny sheep or something. They just crash the game, so I can't really show you these 2, but I can show you this last one, which is the Konoka of Regeneration. So if we fire this at a sheep... Oh, sorry sheep, I'm going to have to punch you just to demonstrate this. Sorry sheep, I'm going to heal you. Don't worry, I'm going to heal you. Look at that, I've given it regeneration for 5 seconds, and it's back to being a very healthy sheep. Hello there. You're looking quite sexy today, sheep. Oh yeah, no. What am I doing? So there is one final kind of disc that you can fire, and this is called the Konoka of Teleportation. And when I first saw this, I thought it was going to be quite similar to an ender pearl, so that when you fired it, you'd be teleported to wherever the disc would land, but it turns out that that's not the case at all. So if I fire this disc at a mob, like so, it teleports the mob to a random location, and I don't know where that cow's gone. It probably went all the way over there. That seems to be the case. But let's just do that again. I'm going to have to get rid of all these discs because I didn't think this through. Actually, I'll just put it at the start. There we go. And I'm going to teleport the sheep to a random location, and where did that sheep go? I will never know. I think it went over there. So yeah, that's pretty much all it does. It just teleports a mob to a random location. And by the way, if you want to increase the power level of these discs, you just aim at the ground and then right click, and you can see every time I right click with this disc in my hand, it increases in power level. So I can turn it all the way up to level 9, and then we get that lovely picture on it. So yeah, that's how you can increase the power level of these things. But now let's go on to some more features of this mod. So, next up we have some new tools that you can now craft using some of those Proto Dermis ingots. And you also need this new thing called bamboo. And you can get some bamboo sticks by combining 3 bamboo into a bamboo stick. And all of these are then crafted in the same way as usual tools, just with bamboo sticks instead of normal sticks, and then Proto Dermis ingots instead of whatever other ore you want to craft it out of. But if we just pop over here towards this lake, you're going to see some naturally spawning bamboo. And this is what bamboo looks like. You can find it naturally spawning around your world. And then you just hit it and it drops bamboo. Well, hopefully yeah, there we go. We've got some bamboo now. So yeah, that's how you can obtain bamboo, and then you can craft it into bamboo sticks to craft these tools. And these tools aren't actually that good. They're similar to iron in durability and strength and stuff like that, but they do function the same as usual tools. You can hit stuff with it, and you can block, and then you can, you know, hoe the ground with this scythe. I don't know why it's called a scythe. It just sounds more like demonic than saying hoe, to be honest. It sounds a lot cooler. So yeah, those are the new tools. And there's also this new item here called a heatstone lighter, which is pretty much the same as a flint and steel. It's crafted using 3 protodermis ingots and some heatstone, and then all you have to do to use it is hold it in your hand and then right click and you set fire to the ground like so. So it's pretty much just a beefed up flint and steel. I think it has more durability and it just looks a lot more awesome. It looks like it's got a redstone torch in the end of a metal casing or something like that. Anyway, come here, snow golem, you're gonna die. Oh, can't really do that, can I? Because there's snow there. You can die another day, I suppose. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the items, apart from these last 2 here, which is a Kohli or Kolhai ball or something, which has no crafting recipe, and as far as I can tell, it has no purpose. You just place it down, and it looks like that. I mean, what is it? It's a cubic ball. You can't really hit it. It just disappears when you're in creative, of course. And I've tried it in survival and it does nothing. So it's a ball that you can't hit. So pretty pointless. And then we've got this disc of time, which has no crafting recipe, but I'll show you more to do with this later on. So now let's go on to how to actually use this mask forge. And you can use this mask forge to create those discs I just showed you how to use and their different abilities and stuff, and also some brand new masks which you can put on your face, and then you get some super epic abilities and stuff like that. So the first thing you need to do is craft one of these mask forges, which is crafted using 6 protodermis ingots, a normal furnace, and a cauldron. And then you place it down and it looks pretty epic. It looks like this. It's got an awesome 3D model to it, and you can see the smoke of the lava below it rising up through the base. And if I open this up, there's a completely new GUI, and all you need to do for starters is just put 3 of these protodermis ingots in here, and then put some lava in here like so, and then it's going to start smelting these 3 down and give you some kind of disc. And it could be any random disc. It's completely random every time you do this. Doesn't matter where you put it in this mask forge, it's always going to create a random disc. So it appears we've got a Konoka of Weakness with power level 4. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, this is what the forge looks like once it's filled with lava. It does look pretty epic if I say so myself. But now back onto what I was initially going to show you, and that's how to create some of these cool masks. And on the right here you can see all of the different masks that are available in this mod. So to actually create a mask, you have to whack in 2 different kinds of Konoka discs into a mask forge, and depending on the combination you get a different kind of mask. But bear in mind, not all combinations will yield you a mask, so you have to like mess around a bit and see which ones work with each other and see if you get this progress bar, and if you do, you might get one of these masks. So you can see here I've got a Konoe Kamaha, Mask of Speed, not really sure if I'm saying that correctly, and that was because I combined one of these Konokas of Reconstitution and a Konoka of Teleportation. And then next up, let's try Regen and Enlarging, and this one's also going to work. These are the only 2 combinations I managed to figure out so far, so you're probably going to guess I'm not going to be showing you all of the different combinations because I'll be here all year. But yeah, there we go, we've got a Mask of Shielding from those 2. And you can also whack in a Disc of Time, which you can randomly get by putting 3 of these Protodermis ingots in here, but when you smelt this down, it gives you a new mask as well. And this one is called the Mask of Time. Yes, surprise, surprise, from a Disc of Time, you get a Mask of Time. So now I'm just going to show you all of these new kinds of masks and what they look like when you equip them. But there's one thing you need to know first, and that is that there's a new key that this mod adds into the game, which is called key.ping, and this is currently bound to M, and when you press this, it activates the ability of the mask. So if I put this mask on now, I've got no effects applied to me, but if I then press M, I get a speed 2 effect applied to me, and then I get this weird blurry vision. Oh, that's horrifying. Wow, I can't see where I'm going. That is so off-putting. Wow, that is horrible. Yeah, I'm not really sure whether it's worth getting speed 2 when you've got this horrible camera motion effect on you, but if you press M again, it disables the effect and you go back to normal speed. So yeah, that's what the Mask of Speed does. But then next up we have the Mask of Strength, and I forgot to show you what they look like, but look at this. Wow, looks like I'm about to go and rob a bank or something. I'm going to rob you, cow. Have you got any money on you? You got any milk? I'm going to rob your milk. Why are you looking at me like that? Am I scary? Am I not scary to you? That's a nice udder, girl. What am I doing? What am I doing? But yeah, so this mask, let's just press M and see what it gives me. We've got haste and strength. So yeah, that's really helpful. And then next up, we've got a Mask of Water Breathing, which gives us Aqua Affinity. So we can just jump in the water like so, and if we went into survival mode, that might help. And you can see my bubbles aren't going down as fast as usual. So yeah, it gives you that potion effect, which is pretty neat as well. But what have we got next? We've got the Mask of Levitation. Ooh, this sounds really awesome. And this is a very green mask, and now that makes me look like some kind of superhero or supervillain. So what I'm going to do now, let's just press space. Oh, look at that, I'm levitating. So that's what this mask does, it makes you levitate. Wow, it's like I'm in creative mode. But you can't really walk forwards very fast when you're levitating or walking at all. Look how slowly I'm walking. And this is while sprinting. I'm going so slow, it's like I'm walking on soul sand permanently. So yeah, the Mask of Levitation enables you to levitate vertically very easily. But if you want to actually travel anywhere in your world, it's going to be a bit of a problem. So yeah, that's what this one does. But next up we have the Mask of Shielding. So let's just put this one on and press M, and we get resistance 2, I believe. Yeah, let's just press M again. I think I deactivated it. So we've got resistance 2 there, which means we're going to get less damage taken from mobs that are going to hit us, which is pretty neat. And that's a really scary mask. Look at that, it's red. I'm like the devil. But let's just take that off and move on to the next one, which is the Mask of X-Ray Vision, which I'm presuming currently doesn't work because, as you can see, I'm not really having any X-Ray vision. Maybe you could like see the bones of mobs when you walk past them. That would be pretty sick. Or maybe it's just something to find ores easier. But currently that isn't implemented, but maybe in the future that would be quite a cool mask. And I've got some kind of growth on the side of that mask. So next up is the Mask of Life. And as far as I can tell, this one doesn't seem to do anything. All it does is it looks pretty awesome with that lovely gold texture on your head, but it doesn't seem to do anything potion-wise or potion effect-wise. So I've tried all manner of different things. I've tried taking damage, and it seems like I'm not invincible. I was hoping kind of that Mask of Life would give you infinite life or make you invincible or something, but nope, it doesn't seem to be the case. But yeah, so I can't really find out what that does, but maybe in the future that will have a function. But then finally we've got this Mask of Time, and this one, look at that, when you equip it and press M, you get this like sepia tone to your world. Not even sure if it's sepia tone, maybe it's grayscale. It's not really grayscale though, because I can still see colours. It's just kind of greyed out a bit, and it looks kind of old-fashioned film kind of style to it, and I quite like it really. But it does give you a slowness 2 effect as you walk around your world as well, so it's probably not the best one to equip, unless you really want to go for that filmic look. So yeah, that's the Mask of Time, and you may notice in my inventory I've got these shiny masks, and what these are pretty much just rare versions of the normal masks, and they're very rare when you're actually forging these masks, and if you get one, they're slightly more powerful than the default masks. They give you slightly longer duration of effects, and slightly better effects as well, but I'm not going to go through these because it just take all year. So yeah guys, that pretty much sums up everything in this mod. So if you've enjoyed this mod showcase, please remember to smash that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already, and look how epic I look in this mask. But yeah, as always, I'll be seeing you next mod showcase.